Okay, Siman Reish Lamed Vov, Halacha Aleph. So now we're talking about the brachas of Kriya Shema. This is the brachas of Kriya Shema at Mariv. Says the Mechaber, Ba'erev, Asif Aleph, Ba'erev Mevarech Shtayim Lifnei Kriya Shema V'Shtayim Lachareha. In the evening in Mariv, there are two brachas before Kriya Shema and there are two brachas afterwards. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ba'erev, V'haminag Leimar V'hurachum. What we're going to focus on now in the Mishnah Berurah is the minhag to say V'hurachum and to say Shir Hamalos at Mariv, before Mariv. V'haminag Leimar V'hurachum Kaiden Tilas Arvis, and that's brought in the Torah in Siman Reish Lamed Zayin Ayin Shomatan. Now, why is it? Why do we say V'hurachum at Mariv? So very interesting. Take a look at footnote number 1. Over Miksas Mekoimos, in some places, Kosov Le'el, Nagu Shloimar Shloisha Pesukim Hashem Tzavokis Imonu, etc. For Kaddish Kodim Baruch Hu. Right, that's not Shir Hamalos, that's just those three Pesukim. Over Tama Miras Pesukim, and the reason for saying these Pesukim is Heviat Aruch HaShulchan Shebi Yerushalmi Kosov Shelo Lo Yazuzu Pesukim Elu Mepicha. You should always be saying these Pesukim for Hosef Shekol Shebet Choneinu Pesukim Elu Shu Yisparach Imonu Miskav Lonu. These are it's to remind us of the theme of these Pesukim. To add that paragraph as well before you say these Pesukim. Because we should say Krishma on the back of saying words of Torah. Why dafka that pasuk? So that we do. The minhag seems to be we only do that when Mariv is at Nacht. And if you're davening Mariv early, we don't seem to do that, especially because it's coming on the back of Mincha. That's the minhag here as well. We don't do it, but at Mariv, when Mariv is Bismana here, we do say Shir Hamalos. Yeah, okay. Now, footnote number 2. Why do we say V'hurachum before Mariv? So what's that about? We don't say V'hurachum at Shacharis when we say the brachas of Kriya Shema before Baruch Hu, for example. So if you look at footnote number 2, very interesting thing. Shekiven she'ein korban hatomid b'layla. We know there's a korban tomid in the morning, the tomid shachris, and the korban tomid shabein ha'abayim. So shekiven she'ein korban tomid b'layla sheyichaper lochein tiknu lispalel ala kapara. Therefore, Chazal made a special tefillah, i.e. V'hurachum yechaper ovein, at Mariv when there is no korban in lieu of the kapara. Sometimes people are smitten with the averes they may have done during the day. After Malkus, then you say V'hurachum yechaper ovein. Because that is a tefillah that the avonos should be washed away through the Malkus. Mishum Shoyomrim Pasuk Zeh B'Shas HaMalkus Shalish Pa'amim. The Gemara Makkah says that you say the Pasuk V'hurachum 3 times whilst you're actually administering the Malkus. Kimin Sheyesh Yud Gimel Tevas, because the word, the phrase V'hurachum Yechaper Ovein, etc. has 13 words. You say it 3 times, that's 39 Malkus. Uchashoyomrim Oso Shalish Pa'amim Oil Leminyan Lamates Malkus. Of a Shabbos she'ein loikin, on Shabbos a person based in don't give out Malkus. Kosavatur she'nogu shelo le'omra, and that's why on Friday night in Mariv we don't say V'hurachum. Okay, so therefore that's the reasons why we say V'hurachum. Let's carry on the Mishnah Berurah. V'da to ma shemavua le'el b'siman nun dalet b'Mishnah Berurah sif kotin yud gimel b'shem hachronim ta'acha baruch hu. This is very important. Ta'acha baruch hu dina ke'emetz ha'perek. Once the Chazan has said baruch hu, then, even though you haven't started that words, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher b'dvarim ha'arev ha'arovim, you're in the middle of a paragraph. It's going on, the brachas you're about to say, it's the beginning of those brachas. Once you've responded to the Baruch Hu, not you, even the Olam, the Tzibur have answered to the Baruch Hu, it's as if the bracha has begun, and therefore, it doesn't make a difference Shachris and Mariv. It's very tempting. Sometimes you hear Baruch Hu, and someone comes in, you think you haven't started the brachas yet, but you haven't said Baruch Atah Hashem. You can chap a shmuz, or you can say a few words, but you can't, because once the Baruch Hu has said, even though you haven't yet begun your Bracha Rishona, if you're davening with that community, therefore you can't speak after that point. The people speak after Baruch Hu before they've said the Baruch, thinking that I haven't yet begun the Bracha, but that's a mistake. Okay, so then the Mechaber says you say Shtayim Lifnei Kriya Shema and Shtayim Lachareha. So the Shtayim beforehand, the Shtayim beforehand is Asher B'dvarei Ma'ariv Arovim, right? Asher B'dvarei Ma'ariv Arovim and Avas Olam. Those are the two brachas we say in Nusach Ashkenaz. Ve'enu b'Pesachas b'Baruch, and there's no opening bracha, right? We don't begin Avas Olam with a Baruch. Why? Because it follows immediately from the first bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Asher B'dvarei Ma'ariv Arovim, Baruch Atah Hashem Ma'ariv Arovim, Avas Olam. And therefore, since it's Samach L'Chaverto, we don't start Avas Olam with a Baruch Atah. V'yesh lahafsik bein Barakir Kirtsono. Now, if you in the first bracha it says U'masades HaKechov Mishmar Seim Barakir Kirtsono, full stop. Borei Yom V'Layla. You should put a full stop there. In the Alt Scroll I can see it's got a full stop after Kirtsono. Why? Because the Kirtsono Koyad Elel, because U'masades HaKechov Mishmar Seim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu organizes the stars and the luminaries in the skies, Barakia Kirtsono, according to His will. Full stop. The Kirtsono is going on the previous thing. U'minag Sfarad Shelo Loma Hashem Tzivokos Kelchai, i.e., the posuk Umar v'yom mivilayla mavdimenu v'layla Hashem Tzivokos Shemai. We add in Nusach Ashkenaz Kelchai v'kayim tomajim le'cholinu l'avoid Baruch Atah Hashem, but in Nusach Sfarad they don't do that. Ela b'mesayim tekav achrei mavdil ben yom Baruch Atah Hashem. Ki heichid l'havi me'ein chasima somach lechasima v'chein nochen. Okay, v'ayim betur sheyishev ba min hagenu. The Tur is miyashev al minag dahavi gamkein me'ein chasima. It's not a hefsek because it's all part of the theme and therefore it's me'ein chasima. She'onu mispalim sheyim lech Hashem, we daven HaKadosh Baruch Hu will rule v'yiskayim v'hoya le'es erev ye'er. Lanu v'choshech l'soni Hashem, there'll be light for us and there'll be choshech for those who hate HaKadosh Baruch Hu. U'ma she'anu omrim Hashem tzivokos Kosvu gamkein achreinu mishum d'chsiv oisei ayefa v'shachar Hashem tzivokos shema is based on that pasuk. Okay, and then we say Shtayim La'achareha. Rishona is Emes Ve'emuna. That is the first bracha, Emes Ve'emuna. That's the first of the two brachas after Shema. Ve'ena b'Pesachas b'Baruch, and again, it doesn't begin with a Baruch to have a Smuch L'Chaverta, because it comes on the back of the bracha pre-Shema. To Kriya Shema they have a hefsek, and Kriya Shema itself is not considered a hefsek. V'chosim Baruch Atah Hashem Go El Yisrael. That is the end of the first bracha after Shema. V'lo Go El Yisrael K'mo B'Tfilah. We spoke about that. Mishum shenistan gnal hagula she'ovra, because it's going on the past gula, on the Yitzias Mitzrayim, and therefore it's Go El Yisrael in the Lashon Ovar. Over Ma'arovis shel Yom Tov nagin l'sayim Melech Tzur Yisrael v'Goy Aloi. Umafakfin harbe b'zeh, because that's the present tense. So it's a bit strange. And there are those who are miyashiv, they explain it. It's much better to say Go'al Yisrael, K'mo b'shai Mos Hashana, or K'mo shekosav Nel b'siman simach vav, Mishabura sif kotzen lamed gimel. Or bracha shnia hashkivenu, the second bracha after Shema is hashkivenu, v'choisem shomer amo Yisrael ad, v'pnei shelayla tzrichin shimra min hamazikin. Now, interestingly, what happens Friday night? This is quite common. Instead of so Shem Am Yisrael Ad, we say right? So what if you get it wrong? What if you go into the weekday nusach on Shabbos? So he says at the back in 14, just a short note, over Shabbos kosva shulchan aruch lekamon shechosim aperes sukkah shalom ve'im tar b'Shabbos v'siyem k'mo b'chol kosva mishtabur sham she'im hu b'tzoich dei dibur yisayim b'shal Shabbos. If you remember straight away, no problem. Quickly finish off the Shabbos nusach. Ve'im lav ein choyzeh. You don't go. Not the end of it. It's not a fatal mistake. And finish off, and you don't go back. And similarly, the other way around, which is less common, but the other way can happen. Kosav v'meka bracha shehu adin im tar b'chol v'sayim b'shal Shabbos. Right, it's Thursday night, and you're already in the Shabbos zone. So it's not a fatal error. If you make the wrong concluding bracha in Hashkivenu, either Shabbos on Chol or Chol on Shabbos, not the end of the world. Okay, just finishing off. V'afal gav, the kaimelon, the tzorich lismech gula tefillah af ba'arvis, even though normally Go'al Yisrael you should go straight into Shemona Esra, but Hashkivenu is not considered a hefsek. The gula arichta domya. The Gemara says it's like a gula arichta, and therefore it's not a hefsek. The calls for B'tamid Rabbeinu Yonah hatam The She'ava Hashem Lingofas Mitzrayim, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to strike Mitzrayim, HaYisrael Mefachtim, they were worried, and Mispalim L'Hashem Yisbarach, She'yikayim Dvorei, Shlo Yitin HaMashchis Lovel Botem Lingoif, Ucheneged Oisa Tefillah Tignu Lo Mashkivenu. So that Hashkivenu parallels the Tefillah that they said on the night of Mitzrayim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu shouldn't smite Jewish homes. Hilkach Me'ein Gu'ulahi. Okay, Beseda. All right, we'll leave it there, Mr.